Have you ever met or known somebody and you're not really sure why, but you're just very drawn to them? When you're around them, you just want to lean into whatever they're saying and doing. And there's a quiet kind of magnetism about them. Well, in today's video, we're going to unpack that phenomenon a little bit, and we're going to talk about psychology-backed traits of magnetic people, nervous system regulation as a hidden key, and how authenticity, curiosity, and warmth really make you more magnetic than trying to impress anybody. If you're new here, my name is Brielle. Hello and welcome. I am a licensed therapist and I've spent years in the mental health field, and this channel is really my way of creating community and bringing lightness and joy back into the healing process and creating a space where we can explore these concepts and co-regulate together. Before we get into it, I want to hear in the comments what you feel like makes somebody magnetic. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and without further ado, let's get into it. First, we're going to talk a little bit about communication and how these people who feel magnetic tend to communicate. One key aspect of this is how these people listen. They listen actively and intently. And to be an active listener, it's important that you are genuinely interested. Genuine interest and genuine curiosity about other people and their lives and their experiences really comes through. And I love this saying, be interested, not interesting. I think that's something very important to think about when you're going into any social setting, is truly thinking about when you're listening to somebody. I know we tend to, as people, especially if we're anxious in social settings, to kind of rehearse what we're going to say before we say it, especially when other people are talking. I think that can be a pretty common habit. Or if somebody's talking and it reminds you of something and you don't want to forget what you wanted to say, it can be really easy to fall into that habit of kind of mentally rehearsing what you're going to say. And in that process, you tend to lose your ability to listen actively as somebody else is talking. And if you want to be magnetic, I think that's something that's really important to focus on, is asking more questions, being genuinely more curious about the people that you interact with. I've mentioned this next aspect in another video, and this is thinking before you speak and speaking only when you feel like you have something to add to the conversation. And I mentioned in the last video again that this is not about dampening who you are or dulling yourself down or trying to filter your authentic self. It's actually the opposite. It's just about how when you think before you speak and you are genuinely wanting to add to the conversation, it turns out that your more authentic self, your most authentic self, ends up coming through more strongly because you have the time to consider, is what I'm about to say or what I want to add to the conversation really in alignment with my authentic self? And you're not always just saying the first thing that pops into your head. The second aspect of being magnetic is inner congruence and authenticity. Inner congruence is when your words, tone, and energy match your truth. When this happens, being around you feels safe and trustworthy. It's that key consideration of, I don't have to have the right thing to say, I just have to be real with how I feel. Which this ties in so much to number 3, because in order to have that inner congruence and let your authenticity shine through, it is very important to be regulated. And I know I scream from the rooftops about regulation all the time, and that is because people naturally seek out other people who are regulated. Eye contact, attunement, and mirroring body language helps people feel respected and understood and important. And in order to attune to the other people around you, you do have to feel grounded in your own body and you have to feel emotionally regulated. For me, I think it's very important to have that kind of alone time with yourself before you enter social settings, that time to really ground before you enter into a room with a lot of other people's energy. That time to really be with yourself and breathe deeply and just kind of ground and center yourself. That is such a game changer when you know you're going into a social environment, because you're making sure you're good with you first before you go out and share in other people's energy. This next one is so important, and that is warmth over perfection. The research shows that we are more drawn to warmth and relatability than we are perfection. And there's actually a name for this phenomenon, and it's called the Pratfall effect. And this effect explains that flawed, competent people are often more likable than flawless ones. Putting yourself out there, being willing to make mistakes, Understanding that you're not going to be perfect is a key of being likable, because nobody's perfect. And if you're willing to allow people to see that, it just helps people relate to you. And I think warmth is so important. It's kind of that intangible quality that people have. When you feel like you could ask that person a question or have a conversation with them, they feel approachable, they feel open. And that's different from being sticky sweet or traditionally nice or letting people walk all over you. You can still be warm and have strong boundaries. And I think warmth also has a lot to do with being authentic and being regulated. When you're just good in your own skin and you're relaxed into your own energy, it does help people feel safe around you. And it helps people feel like you're not going to judge them because it doesn't feel like you're judging yourself. You can let other people be themselves because you're good with you. Now, this last aspect of being magnetic is living your values. And that's really just asking yourself the question, what do I stand for and how can I live that out in small ways every day? We all need to have things that are important to us in order to direct our energy efficiently in life and to have something to strive for. And people are more magnetic when they stand for something, when they have things that they care about and they have integrity in caring about those things. There's this little mantra that I love to say that I do feel like kind of ties all these things together, and that's the more I align with who I am, the more I magnetize what's meant for me. And all of these points really do just have to do with being authentic to who you are, because that does shine through. And authenticity is the most magnetic thing. Now I want to hear in the comments, is there anything you guys feel like I missed when it comes to being magnetic? Is there any trait or quality that you feel like makes somebody magnetic that I didn't talk about in this video? I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, questions. Truly, thank you so much for being here with me today and your time. If you liked today's video, please like and subscribe. It means the absolute world to me. And I hope to see you in the future. Have a beautiful day.